So I'm gonna ask you a question and hold up if you agree with it. And if you don't agree with it, you could put disagree. For my folks in the chat, you could play along with us too. So with the question we asked, type out agree if you agree and disagree if you don't agree. All right. So first
disclaimer real quick, Alicia. We are not going to be responsible for any marriages that go astray after this meeting. Our disclaimer. Just want to make sure we put that out there, Alicia. All right, let's go.
I love the disclaimer. Absolutely. We will not be held accountable for any, again, these are their thoughts on monogamy, all right? And polygamy. So
don't try this at home, kids.
Don't
please don't.
All right, question number 1. And again, in the chat, you could play along as well. So agree or disagree. There is more sexual boredom in a monogamous relationship. So there is more sexual boredom in monogamy versus polygamy. Do we agree or disagree? Go ahead and hold up your signs. Let me see.
Can't see yours, Dave.
Yeah, I know. I plead the fifth.
Wait, come on.
Pumpkin out already? Already?
Hey, smart man.
Wow, already, Dave? I thought you said lock the door.
Oh. She locked her inside with him.
This dude put up a blank one.
I'm just saying.
All right, so in the chat, we have Aisha saying disagree. Shonda said disagree, and Tamara said agreed. All right, anyone want to elaborate on that?
You know, I'll say this, and I say agree, but it really all depends on your appetite. Because everybody, you know, we think that all men are just sexual beasts, and they're not. Just like all women are not that passive. You know, some women are just as much as a sexual beast as the men. So if you are if this is what you're looking for in monogamous or polygamy relationship, if you are a highly sexual person, then one person is not going to do it for you anyway. Two, I mean, one person can do it for you, but two is always more fun, right? If that's what you're looking for. But if you're not that highly motivated and one person can fulfill all your needs, then you're good. So yeah, so even if so that's why I go with that, is that I say I agree, but again, if you're into that and you're into just very active sexual life, then yeah, two people always gonna be more fun.
Okay, anybody else want to add before we go to our next one?
I actually would disagree. I just didn't have a marker, so this is my agree, this is my disagree. I would respectfully disagree, because I remember as men, when we talk about women and we reminisce about experiences we may have had, most men would still go back to one specific memory. There might be a lot of different experiences and things that come close, but if you ask the man to pick one, he can. So had he been in a relationship monogamous with that one experience, it would have been enough, because that was the one that strikes out in memory for amount of time. So I would say disagree, just for the fact that it's possible if the sexual chemistry is there. It's just unfortunately sometimes other things didn't line up, so that relationship didn't continue. My thoughts.
I can see that point. I can see that view. I just say, just to throw the disclaimer out, I did say I agree, but I'm not married, so I can't speak truly to it. But I can only base my answers on just from hearing so many stories and people that always would say there's a honeymoon stage, right? So if there's a honeymoon stage or a honeymoon phase, that means it phases out, where it can fizzle out. And remember, we're speaking on marriages 20, 30 years that I feel like that same height or that same intensity, that sexual intensity that it was at, I don't know if it'll always be that case throughout. So yeah, I think unless you guys are really working towards keeping that spice, yeah, you're gonna probably get bored or lose some of that sexual chemistry over time.
I agree with Charles. There's a timeline attached to this thing. It's tied to it, right? Because it depends on how long the relationship is. And when I hear all these horror stories, even that video that you had up the other day, right? With the girl saying she want to have sex, right? And pretty much in a monogamous or even a polygamy, right? Even that kind of relationship, you can't start on the premise of feeling like you're pressured into going into it, right? So a lot of women pressure you to go into, have an ultimatum, you're gonna do this by this, right? And as soon as we get in there, after a while, you don't want to do nothing.
Okay, hold on, Chris. I know you're waiting for this topic. I know that since I mentioned monogamy, Chris has been like, let me in the game, coach. So hold on to that thought. We're going to come back to that entire topic. Let's jump to number 2. Folks in the chat. Question number 2. All right. There is less jealousy in a monogamous versus polygamous relationship. Do we agree or disagree?
Yes.
All right. So Mark says disagree. David says disagree. All right. So
all right.
Chris and Charles, you both agree.
All right. I feel like Mark and Dave right now is from a whole different planet. Because just the setup of it alone suggests that there's less jealousy. You have to be less jealous. You have to be getting ready to share. You're not sharing at all. You don't want nobody else. You get what I'm saying? Unless you have a little setup there. You get what I'm saying? But generally speaking, you're supposed to be with one person. So if I see you like or you like anybody else, it's gonna be a problem. In the other setup, you're allowed to like somebody else, and you have to be okay with it and not jealous. So please have Mark and Dave explain to us what they're talking about.
Charles, I'll let you give your point after they make their case.
All right, cool.
You agree, Oliver?
Yeah, I agree. If you want me to make my case now, I can.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, the reason I agree is for probably 2 reasons. Because one thing about women that we know is they need attention and quality time, right? And if you're in a polygamous relationship, there could come times when someone is not getting that same amount. There's going to be times where someone is going to get less of that attention or that quality time, and that can create jealousy. But if you only got one, I think it's a little easier. So.
Okay. All right. David.
Okay. And just for my sake, could you repeat the question? I want to make sure I got it right.
Sure. There is less jealousy in a monogamous versus polygamous relationship.
Got it. So yeah, I disagree that there's less jealousy in a monogamous relationship because of the focus of having one. There could be more jealousy. I think honestly it could be equal across the board. That's kind of where I stand. The reason why I say it's equal across the board, in a monogamous relationship, you have an agreement and a commitment to be exclusive to one another, and that can easily be broken because some people think, hey, if you looked at someone, if you thought about someone, if you talked about someone, there's different levels to what they feel the commitment has been broken. Same thing, I believe in polygamy, where, yeah, we may have agreed to be able to date someone else, but I didn't tell you you could really like them. I didn't tell you you could fall in love with them. You still being held to someone else's standard of how much you can be in that relationship. I'm sure no one wants to be number 2. They just don't mind number 2 being there. But what happens if they flip to number 2? So I think that is going to be across the board the same.
And I'll tell you, Alicia, your camera frozen again? Looks like it. So I tell you my thoughts on that is that if you're a jealous person, so let's say I do have two, or all three of us in a relationship, or if I allow my spouse to go out and still date. Yeah, you have to have some type of non-jealousy to even be in the relationship. But just as JD was just saying, if I'm a jealous person still, okay, I'm going to confine you to the rules of this game. If you go outside the rules, I'm still a jealous person. It's just that now, as long as you're playing by my rules, I'm good. But if you step outside of that, now I got two people I have to worry about opposed to just one. So I'm still a jealous person, but now I got two people I got to worry about that, hey, you went out with the person and y'all stayed out all night, whatever the case may be. Was he good? Was he better than me? Was he, did he make you, did he make you pull your hair out? I'm still a little, even though I'm participating in this type of relationship, if I'm jealous, I think you can still be in a multi-person relationship and still have a bit of jealousy about you. And I think it just makes it worse.
Okay. All right, let's jump to the next one. Do you agree that more women or people should agree to the polygamy lifestyle? You wish more people were open to the idea of polygamy? Mark, if for any reason this question can get you jammed up, you don't have to answer. Okay. All right. So let me see. Charles, what is yours? Disagreed? So it was 3 disagrees and an agree?
Agree, disagree.
All right. So let's have Charles go first. Why do you disagree? You wish more people were not open to the idea of polygamy, even though some men practice it. Well, some people practice it anyway.
Hey.
I'm a hold. But all right, Charles. So why are you against the idea?
But if we're basing it on the definition of polygamy, it's the practice of more than one partner in a relationship, either it's sexual or married. So I just feel like it's more work to be in 2 relationships. What men or some men out here are doing, I don't think they're practicing polygamy because they're still not trying to be committed to that second person. So it's a little different, right? But in 2 relationships, there's more work. There's more financial expenses. It's just too much. So yeah, I wouldn't agree with that one. I mean, there's always going to be issues in a monogamous relationship, but as far as 2 people coming together and wanting to live out a life, it's work. It's a lot of work. It's too much work.
You sound like it's a headache. He's like, that's too much.
Too much.
David, what you want to add?
Dave?
Was that on me? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Definitely. I don't think it's a good idea for this society. The key word that I think about is the word legacy. Where's the legacy going to be for family trees? When you got this one split this way, that one split this way, I think that it also brings up incest at some point because, you don't know who your brother, who your sister, who's the half, what are we? It just doesn't have a structure that I believe, again, Christian view that God created it to be. If more people in society were practicing that as if it was supposed to be the standard, I think it would be a huge loss.
Okay. And it's interesting because even in the Bible, it talks a lot about the multiple wives that a lot of these leaders had back in the day. That's what I was going to talk
about.
That's on the tip of my tongue.
In the Old Testament, it was a whole bunch of polygamy.
Oh, yeah, it was. And
I mean, Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. That's 1,000 women.
And could afford them. Let's not forget that part of being able to afford.
Why you got to go back to the money with the ladies?
I'm just saying, because you can have, can you support all of those?
JD, she was waiting for that one. She was holding that ace card.
So it is important. So I read this article on CNN. It was called "Why Are Humans Monogamous?" And humans are now mostly monogamous, but this has been the norm for just the past 1,000 years. So it's actually a newer concept in the larger scheme of things. So scientists at the University College London believe monogamy emerged so that males could protect their infants from other males in ancestral groups so they wouldn't kill them in order to mate with their mothers. So that's one of the philosophies on why monogamous was developed anyway. So back to your point about legacy, David, it is important to, I guess, have that unified family structure identified and able to pass down. Chris,
let me say something about that, because I agree. I believe some people must go that way and some people must go that way, because at the end of the day, you have guys that's in a monogamous relationship that they have about 3 other women, right? So what? So you're not supposed to be in that relationship, but most of them, they end up in a monogamous relationship because they just don't want that woman to be with anybody else. That's basically what it is, because if you know, guys can't handle the cheating like women, right? We can't handle it at all. You understand? We actually feel it. You know what I mean? So either or, you must know what's good for you, what works for you. And then as far as family structure is concerned, in the Bible, they still have the family unit outside of monogamous relationship. And then there's a group also that's called Morgan Heritage. That's what that is.
Okay.
It's a household with about 2 or 3 wives and all the kids in one household. So those guys that you see all together that formed a band are brothers and sisters from other mothers, one dad.
So could you all, well, I'll throw this question to Mark. So great points on you 3 that you've made. Mark, you're on the opposite side. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I said agree, and now I'm thinking, okay, throw your question out one more time. I lost it.
Do you wish more women or people were open to agreeing to a polygamy relationship?
Yeah, and I said agree because pretty much JD had said something also that triggered what I was thinking about was, you're, how can I put this? Most people step out because of either some type of, some satisfaction they're not receiving in the home, and they step out anyway. As Chris was saying, they step out anyway. They're supposed to be in a monogamous relationship. So think about the mindset that we were brought up in, because there's other countries, especially in our heritage country of Africa, where polygamy is practiced, and that's the way it's lived. So if your mindset has been told that no, that's wrong, then you won't see the advantages or what it was, how it was set up. And as far as how Yahweh set it up to be, remember Adam and Eve came forth to populate their kids had sex with somebody, right? So it's not so much as, not knowing your heritage, but, even the way that was set up throughout the Old Testament, even the New Testament. But this is a newer way of thinking of, hey, you commit yourself with this one person. I don't think that was a natural way for men and women to come together. So I think it would be a benefit if you could, one man or even a woman who could share the load, so to speak, as far as household duties or income. You're talking about finances, Charles. Well, you get one head of the house and maybe 3 or 4, however big your group want to be. That's your finances being shared, right? Not that it's being split down the middle, but I'm saying that he's still handling.
One will cover the light bill, one could cover the water bill, is what you're saying.
And yeah, right. Or even the household duties. You take care of the kids this week. I take care. However you split that up, it can all be shared. However you seem that to be shared, whether it be duties, responsibilities, or finances. So really? Yeah, it would definitely be a plus.
But Mark, think about it like this. You got some men, right, that don't mind being the sole providers, right? So if you have those type of men, right, that want to pay all the bills, think about it. Now you got 2 women, 3 women even in the house. So guess what? Y'all go on dates. You always pay. Now you got to pay for 2 or 3 people. You want to make sure that their gas tank full. Now you got to make sure that 2 or 3 cars are full, right? If you want to, take them on a trip, you're paying for everything at the point, depending on what type of person you are, right? And if you want to be that head of household that takes care and provides financially, where they can take away from the loads as far as cooking, cleaning, things of that nature, then it helps her, it benefits her, because guess what? The house is gonna get clean regardless if it's 1 person or 3 people. But when it comes financial, you're gonna be impacted more if you're that type of guy. You know what I mean?
Well, Marc will most likely pick up women that are working. Marc ain't gonna pick up no chick that ain't working.
This is something Alicia said. You have to be able to afford it. So when I go to Vegas, there's the $5 poker table, there's the $50 poker table, the $100 and the $1,000 poker table. Don't get into this game if you can't, if you can't supply, if you can't take care of the needs.
You got to stay in your lane, huh?
Stay in your lane.
Well, listen, I'm not here to talk so much about the polygamy aspect, even though it is very interesting and not very much talked about in our community. I do think it's something worth exploring. But I have to ask, would you all be willing to be a part of a polygamous relationship with the woman having multiple husbands? Why Marc get up and leave? What happened?
We call that a double standard.
That's a double standard.
Listen. Polygamy is not that rare as you think. It's happening.
No, it's not. Yeah.
It happens under your nose. And I mean, for example, in Jamaica, here that's a side chick and all this stuff, right? But in Jamaica, they actually have a culture where back in the day they used to call it wifey and matey, right? And they know of each other.
That's the difference. The difference is that they know about each other.
Yeah, but that's polygamy.
Yeah, but when they don't know about each other,
right? But what I'm saying is it's more common than you think. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, it's practicing a lot of.
As people act, it's actually I know you the side chick, I know stay in your place. Even in Jamaica now they start calling them, oh, you first lady. So that means you guys are acknowledging each other and you're taking part in it. So that's polygamy. It's more common than you think.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah. I wanted to build on something Chris said too. And debunk something that I feel is going on with the polygamy and monogamy conversation. This thought process that someone in a polygamous relationship is more mature because they can have a conversation to be able to construct this relationship that everyone agrees on. This idea that even Marc was talking about, where we can share the finances as if it helps the individual who's in the polygamous relationship be more mature. I think it's actually a sign of more immaturity. Why? Because you feel like you need something outside of a relationship with one other person to make it through life. The process of not having enough as a couple is supposed to help you grow. It's something you go together with. If you have to grab someone else in, it kind of makes me think of LeBron James. I'm sorry, we're not trying to have this conversation. I didn't mean to go into that conversation, but that's what it made me think of. I got to bring everybody with me just to get to the championship. Why can't you do it with who you with? So to me, I think that's a debunk that needs to happen.
But listen though, Dave, it depends on your value system, because there's different components that's involved in here. You have timing, you have lifestyle, you have desires, you have sexual compatibility, responsibility. So much more stuff is involved in it. You know what I mean? That's why I say you must know what is good for you, because for me, it doesn't make any sense. You get in a monogamous relationship and you'd really want more. That means you're not ready for it. You're not ready. And I'm not saying that I disagree that it takes more of a man, more of an inner, deeper strength to be in a monogamous relationship, right? To me, you have to be more mature to be in a monogamous relationship. But the point is, if you're not ready, don't go and do it. because that's where you're gonna come now with your lies and your deceit, and that's cheating. You must know what's good for you. You must assess, because there's a certain time in your life that you might feel like you're not ready for a monogamous relationship, and then there's a certain time that you feel like you're ready. You understand? The time when you feel like you want to be a thought, and the next time you feel like yeah.
Mark, you quiet over there. What's your thoughts?
Oh, no, I'm just listening. I appreciate what David said about the mature, because I definitely wouldn't categorize it. I have to follow by what Chris just said. I don't categorize it as not so much as maturity, but you have to be a lot more open if you're going to, and I don't know if I'll use the word maturity, but it sounds like the best word to be used. You have to be open to a lot more things than someone who's just dealing with one person. So you have to have a totally different mindset, value system. Yeah, so I'll agree definitely with what Chris the way he just explained that.
Okay.
I don't think it's devaluing the person who's in a monogamous relationship, but the person who would consider or who's participating in a polygamy, yeah, you definitely have a different mindset.
Yeah, you even as a woman, or just being in addition to that relationship, it takes a different type of mindset for that. I know there's a new show, I don't know the name or anything, but there's this Black man and he has 2 Black women who agreed to be his wife. And I'm just always interested of that dynamic, because you want to ask questions, but then you don't want to really know the answer. It's kind of like, well, does he do this with you? Or he never did that with me, or I'm not built for it. I know that, but it is interesting to see the ones who are, and it's even more interesting that the reverse polygamy relationship, where it's a woman with multiple husbands, y'all are like, nah, like, nope, can't happen. Territorial, I see. It's interesting. All right. Let's jump to the next one. So why do you think men would rather cheat than to pursue a polygamous relationship?
I think I answered that too soon. Because they don't want the girl to go to someone else, because, you know, she's gonna say, well, if you're allowed to see someone, then I'm allowed to see someone, right? So they rather go around behind the back. And I mean, it happens vice versa too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Girl want to see other people, but she don't want no other girl getting you. So she rather cheat and then, you know, claim that. So it's all plain pretend. It's Barney and Friends. Just plain pretend.
It's plain pretend.
Yeah.
Holiday?
It also depends on what their relationship is built off of, right? I mean, if it's built off of convenience, you know, where someone is in it, you know, to see what they can gain from that person, then you're going to see a lot of cheating going on in those situations. If it's built off of, you know, financial, then you may have a situation where it's more business, it's more transactional than relationship wise. So you can also see a lot of stepping out in those situations as well. So for me, it's like, it's kind of hard to answer the question because, you know, every situation is different. But when it comes to the cheating in the situation, there's some either communication or disconnect. There's a communication where they're okay with it, they know what's going on, or the disconnect is something in the home is not going how it should be. They're not fully on the same path, or they're not fully yoked to the point where it's not happening. So it can happen in those situations, you know. So it's a lot of variables included when it comes to that.
Mark, I know you wanted to add.
No, I agree with both what they just said as far as, yeah, I have nothing to add to that.
Okay. David?
Yeah, I would just say that I think why wouldn't more people want to be in a polygamous relationship rather than be in a monogamous relationship and cheat? I think some people just don't get into a monogamous relationship with the intent to cheat. They have good intention. The Bible says that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. The flesh is weak. So, you know, we you know, people, we make mistakes, and men and women have made mistakes. And I think that although it hurts someone in the process, I give credit to someone who would try, who says, I want to be faithful to this person. That's what I want to do. And if they fail, to not throw them through the dirt because they failed. You know, because someone who just says, hey, I don't even want to try because I know I'm going to mess up. That's their decision as well. I don't knock them for doing that. That's how they want to live. But I just don't think that people get into relationships with the intent for something to happen. But, you know, things happen in the home. The work needs to be done. Communication. It's a process. It's a journey that got bumps in the road.
You know, Alicia, I do want to say one thing is that I think also add on to that is that it's shunned upon when, you know, as far as especially in the Black community and others, it's shunned upon if you hear one of your sisters or brothers who say, hey, I'm in a polygamous relationship, and people are, oh, you know, it's so, you know, it's almost like, even
it's
if you
not
want
normal.
it's not normal. If you're sacrilegious, you're going to hell, you know, it's just so much that's gonna come down to you. So some people rather say, you know what, I just rather cheat than want to be, you know. There was a place, a friend of mine was asking me about this place down in Fort Lauderdale. I can't think of it. It's a swingers club. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, they was asking about it. And they want to go. I said, well, go see what it's about. No, I mean, what if I run into somebody who's there? And what if I run into that? I'm like, you know what, you don't need to go. I said, if you're worried about all of that, then you need to just don't, you know. So it's the perception of what people will think about me if I was in this type of relationship. And I think that's why people are, I'd rather just cheat than to admit to being in that type of relationship, because it's just
that's accurate, because I can only imagine what it's like bringing home your significant other for Thanksgiving dinner along with you know another companion, and it's like, here we are, you know, and what the family some families would be very not open to that.
If your partner allowed you to have multiple partners, would you do it?
If my partner allowed me to have multiple partners,
yeah.
It's a great question. What would you guys do?
Not too many.
Well, I like that one, Alicia. I like that. I like that.
That's a great question, Chris. So what do you say, Charles? Your significant other says that you can have another partner. Are you gonna have one?
No, ma'am. I'm okay.
All right. Yeah, you said it's too much work anyway. The first
too
much work. What you say, David?
Nah, just, it's, you know what, to me, it honestly comes off weird. Now, let me give a disclaimer. I personally, even before becoming married, I got into this place in my single life to where I didn't want to talk to more than one person at the same time. So that's just where I've been. It was a process getting there. So just to be fair, that's where I was before even getting married. And I think that's a good indicator of being ready to get married. But I also find it weird. Like when you said, Mark, you know, coming over to the family barbecue or coming home to Christmas with these multiple partners, and why we would feel, you know, it might look weird.
Said that. I didn't say that. That was Alicia. I didn't say that.
because I think it would weird. You know what? I have a quick story. It was a restaurant turned into a club for an evening. It was a real nice place. And me and a buddy of mine went to this event, and we're just sitting there, and there's a married couple. We could tell that they're together. And the lady comes over and she starts talking to him, and they're kind of talking to each other. They pull him over, and both me and him are lost. Until they walk away, we really didn't know what happened. And basically they were trying to recruit him for their relationship. Now, that didn't feel natural. And I don't think if anyone was approached that way, you would feel like, oh, this is like normal day life. So I think
maybe
it's just
Marc.
unnatural.
Marc might think it was natural.
So I think of like three different scenarios, right? Three different situations that stand out to me right now with this conversation. So one is with D. Ray Davis, if y'all know who he is. He's a well-known comedian who he's openly come out in public and says that he's in a polygamous relationship, right? He has 2 girlfriends, and he said he's been doing this for years and it's been working out great for him. So that works for him, right? But then I also think about, what about do we remember Hugh Hefner, right? Who has had multiple girlfriends at the same time. They all know about each other. And I've seen where they've had Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all these other things together. The question for me is, with those girls, it was did they really love him? Did they really want to be in a monogamous relationship?
No, Charles, no.
Or was it just for entertainment, fame, whatever the case is, right? So in a situation like that, they're probably doing something on the side. They're probably cheating, doing whatever on the side because it's not an attraction in that situation.
But do they need to be loyal to him if they're one of many?
Yes, because guess what?
They would have to if it's a polygamous situation.
I realize that women partake in a polygamous relationship depending on how much money you have. There's a financial aspect to this thing. If I have a
I know some girls in the hood that are in polygamous relationships.
Hold on. Yeah, because it's not always financial. It's also power and respect, right? Because you also have, what about pimps?
Well, it's not all.
They call all those girls their girlfriends, but what are they doing?
No, Charles, I give it about 90% financial. 90%. You get millions tomorrow morning and see the difference.
Oh yeah, if I got millions.
Right? They know and they're willing. Okay, sorry. Let me talk
about that, right? What about those guys who use those women for business, but they'll still say, you guys are all my girlfriends. I love you. They mentally like play with their minds, right? Manipulate them. But they're using them. So they're not really in love with them to that point to be in
but you don't need a polygamous relationship for that. That happens in a monogamous relationship too, where the mental game where they get played with or they stay
with They're not getting sold though. I'm talking about being sold to sleep with other people for financial gain.
That's something else. Yeah. That's something else. Okay, so we got some comments going through in the chat.
Sure we do.
Let me see. You see the chat going up, right? Sarah said, my husband's in the background talking big trash, I'm gonna say. Especially if your girl offers it, you can't out smash your chick. That's an L for the dudes all day. That's hilarious. So that's Andy coming through. So that goes back to the question of hall pass. And so Chris was asking, like, if your spouse allowed you to go out, like, would you? So in theory, would you accept the hall pass? So if you're tuning in the chat, let us know, would you accept the hall pass? Yes or no? Andy already said no, it's a trap. He said, it's just a trap. It's a trap.
Listen, fellas, you can't be scared.
Well, sometimes it could be. So what I found from this show, Put a Ring on It, it just started one episode in, and they've been in relationships for like 8 years, but not getting married. So the therapist has them dating other people, and these fellas are hot about it. Like, wait, hold up. What you mean dating other people? Like, you realize we've been together this long and I ain't gonna be holding hands and that. So they get real territorial. And it's interesting to see, mind you, the guys are gonna go on dates too. But it's interesting to see their response when their lady now is going out with someone else. So it could be that they're intimidated that maybe this new guy outperforms, out-romances, out all of that. What'd you say, Chris? Yeah?
All of that. That's what I'm saying. I'm keeping it real. I'm telling you, guys cannot handle it. They can't handle it. They can't even handle you going to lunch with a male coworker. You can't even handle that. So, I mean, women can handle the cheating. I don't know if it's history. I don't know what it is. But guys can't handle that. And most of them just actually because they don't want, they really get into you and they want you. You're the main one. But I still want to go out there, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to make you exclusive, but then I'm still going to cheat because the reason why is because I want you to not go out there. I don't want you to step out.
So let me ask a real quick question to you, Alicia. You're in a committed relationship with your guy, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say maybe an anniversary or his birthday comes up and you say, to spice things up, this one time I want to give you a treat, where I want to, you know, bring someone else into to our space together. Is that considered cheating if you initiated it?
So I bring in another female. Am I still there, or I'm letting him one-on-one with the female?
Oh, you're still there. This is a, yeah.
So, guys, we're out of time for today. I appreciate guys' time.
All right. Okay.
All right. So, I mean, you know, I actually thought about, I'm gonna be honest, I thought about including another gal as a gift. However, I don't want him to like her more than me. I'm being honest. Like, these chicks from where I'm at specialize in some things.
Okay.
Okay. South Florida ain't no walk in the park. Like, these chicks are I don't know. They're talented, as Charles would say. I'm a Midwest girl. Not saying I'm not talented, but it's not, some things just aren't a sport for me, right? But I say all of that to say, if she outperforms me, how do I face him the next day? Like, how do you, Mark, maybe you could speak to this.
But you know what? This is a question that not a question, but it's, and I think David hit on earlier, was that, you know, people who do step out of, you know, polygamy relationship, it's not so much as it's always sexual. So she outperformed you. Your guy's in love with you for the whole package. You know, so okay, so she
the package that he's experienced, but bring in a whole new.
I'm just saying, okay, so she went what's her girl name? Cardi B on a gag, on a throat choke. So she went Cardi B, but that was just an experience. That's just a sexual experience, so to speak. But this is not the person who I want to sit and talk with, not the person I want to sit with, the woman who I know, the woman who I fell in love with. This is just a sexual experience. So just because she outperformed you don't mean that now all of a sudden he up and gone. If anything, and not encouraging you to do this.
Look, it sounds like you.
Anything, but I'm just thinking anything for a man, for a woman to have succumbed, to give her a man that type of a gift, you would be elevated even higher, because that's a lot for a woman to, you think about it, for a woman to say, you know what, for a gift, this is what I give you.
I see what Alicia is saying, and I definitely agree with Mark. For you to go to that level, and Mark is right, not everything is sexual, right? And I mean, me personally, I don't want none of that. I just want one-on-one. You understand? Straight up, I don't want no, that's me, but that's me. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but I'm saying though, for you to invite someone else, like Mark is saying, you have to be at the mindset that your partner actually adores you. The inside.
You can be there.
Mark is saying the whole package.
It
can't just be sexual. Now, if you are apprehensive about it and you have insecurities about it, that means you're not ready for it.
I do. And I'll admit I do, because I feel like when you expose something to someone, you can have intentions of it just being a gift or a one-time thing, but that experience can create now a new hobby or a new interest that someone might want to be their norm. So how do you draw that line to say, hey, this is for your anniversary, right? And this is not our new norm. Like, how do you determine that?
Because it's an assigned risk. But what I'm saying is, you have to know what the probability of the outcome is going to be, and that depends on how secure you are about your hold on your man.
That's
what I'm saying.
What you say, David?
Women do that all the time, and they share them, and the man just adore the woman. That's what Mark is saying, right? And they just compartmentalize and put that in. You see what I'm saying? This is where this is. But
really,
you don't know Yes, if you don't know, and I mean that's what they do. All right, think about swinging.
I mean, I've seen where they invite, and someone actually just said this in the chat. I've seen where like they've invited another girl and then they leave, or they now get with that other girl. So
or I've seen it where, well, I've actually seen a movie where the guy tried that, and then his wife actually was getting together with the girl, and they start falling in love, and he was left out. Right? So I mean, there's a risk, but what I'm saying is you have to know how secure you are in your partner. You have to know your partner after a certain amount of years. You can't be iffy. That means that you're not secure with your partner. You don't trust them like that. So
I think you could be secure with a partner, but it's such a risk that you don't know if you want to take that. Because it's,
you know what? I gotta say this. I gotta say this. Even if you felt like you were secure with your partner, if you made them that offer, honestly, a little bit of that security goes down when they accept it. Forget waiting for them to fall in love. You want to give them this gift, and you want to be this bigger person in what you're thinking, and whatever process you think that it would be a good thing. But something inside you, before they even do anything, the fact that they accepted it tells you that they need something a little bit more than you.
So it went down this much. So what about, Dave, what about if the guy actually initiated it and said, listen, I want another girl to come in. So how much more down would it go?
What if it's another guy he brings?
What?
Oh, I figured that would be the response.
Yeah, disagree. There you go. No, I believe some doors I know you say risk, but some doors you crack them open and they'll break open.
It's true, it's true.
And the reality is that if you make that offer to your partner, to your spouse, first of all, you started to crack that door open, and you don't really have to wait until they fall in love before things start to kind of get confusing, because the moment they accept it and you start walking through that process, it's like you already, you're gonna start thinking, like, you were already thinking about this. You wanted to do this. Okay, what is it about me? And you might keep putting on this face, but now you've gone back to a place of putting on a facade that I'm okay with this stuff.
Well, you see, Dave, though, but that is your vantage point.
It's my thoughts. Yeah, true.
Right, that's your vantage point. That's and even though I share the same point of view as you, but I have to think outside the box. Because what I look and I see people who are swingers, they're swinging with other people, multiple people, and they're so happy. They're together. They actually last longer than the monogamous. So, I mean, it depends on your state of mind.
Yeah.
Because our state of mind is not ready for that. But you have to have that state of mind where you see you're a woman out there, or you see you're a man out there, and you're okay with it. And you compartmentalize and you say, this is what this is only. It's like you go out, right? Some people go out, right? And if I go out with my woman, right? So for example, in Spanish, and maybe I'm the guy where, a guy want to dance, she want to dance with the guy. And I'm okay, we're dancing, we're having fun. I'm dancing with a girl, right? I have that state of mind where I'm okay with that. And I have no problem. Some people can't handle that.
That's
so
true.
It depends on your state of mind. Something as simple as dancing. Some people are talking, looking. Some people can't even look on somebody else. You have to pretend that you see no one attractive.
Yeah.
Understand? So it depends on the security of the relationship.
Marc?
Yeah. So
talk to us.
All right. So in my college days, I was involved in such a relationship. Me and the young lady, that's what we did. And believe it or not, Chris.
You were happy?
Even guys, we were in a serious relationship. We had, we would go out, like the couple you said you ran into, I had to think, that wasn't us, was it? The couple we would go out and we were like, you know what? You want him or her? Yeah, go ahead. Let's go. And it really is, and this is what Chris is saying. It really takes two people that, you know what, I trust you. And we'll say, even in a monogamous relationship, we'll say I trust you, but it has so many disclaimers tied to it. Oh, I trust you, but I don't trust her. Like, that don't make any sense. So people say, well, yeah, I trust you'll do the right thing, but if she get with you, I don't trust her, and I think she'll make you know. Either I trust you or I don't. So we trusted each other to the point where I was never worried about somebody outdoing me, because first of all, you have to go in the mindset of knowing that I'm not the best. I'm not what's the name of the Latin lover? I'm not the best lover out there. I'm not the best lover out there. I'm not, the most endowed person. I'm not the least most endowed. So I know somebody can come. We could meet somebody in the club and they could make your hair stand up, or they could do something that I can't do. Whatever the case may be. But you have to be so okay with all of that, and just know that that can happen and it will happen. But at the end of the night, they're going home. And we sitting here laughing about how good of an experience it was, and we went on for a couple of years with that.
Really?
So, yeah. So when I hear people talk about, trust, now you asked the question, I didn't answer. Like, now I have I've done what I got all that in my system when I was young. I have no desire to bring anybody in between me and my wife. I do know that it takes the Holy Spirit to be in one to make you totally complete. There's always something you're going to be searching for, whether it be another person, money, fame, fortune. If the Holy Spirit is not within you, it's going to be something that it's something you're lacking, right?
Yeah.
So hey, I agree with Mark. I agree with Mark right there, actually, because that is so true, especially for men, right? Coming up, there's always been a fantasy of ours. There's always been a dream or a goal, even, you know what I mean? To experience that, two women thing, multiple women thing, that type of situation, right? And if some men have not gotten to that place and they've gotten into a monogamous relationship, they're going to still feel like within themselves that they didn't meet their goal. They didn't reach that accomplishment that they wanted to. And some might just let it, die down and just, it's okay, they'll fester out. But for some, that's still going to be in the back of their mind. They're still going to play, and they're going to feel like if that opportunity ever comes, if that door ever knocks or it opens, I'm jumping in, Or you may have some that have experienced it before getting into that serious relationship, and they're like, okay, well, I can check that off my list and I can keep it going. But what Mark said is true. It definitely, at the end of the day, both people have to be on the same page, right? As far as what we want, because if not, you're going to start to see the signs. You're going to start to see the signs as far as the man maybe hinting at it more, throwing little hits out there that's something that he's interested in wanting. But if you don't feel the same way, then even if you do it, even if you allow it that one time, it's going to make you feel some way. You're going to feel either insecure, you're going to feel scared about it, you're going to feel like, why did I do this? So it's not going to create a conducive situation where you guys will be okay after and communicate about it. Because the relationships have to have that communication. So at the end of the day, after we do it, let's talk about it. What'd you think about it? How'd you feel? What did that make you feel like? Do you feel like you want to do it again?
I don't
have
these conversations. That is not a conversation I want to debrief.
But it's okay. You can see when y'all are open and friends and in that relationship.
But I get it. I mean, I get the rationale. I understand it.
You should. So in other words, Alicia, you have to be 100 about it. You have to be 100
you have to.
about it. Or else, no.
You have to.
And I have to say that the person would also need to be completely aware that this is a conversation that they may have with their children at some point. and it's not time to hit a U-turn when your daughter's asking you about it or your son's asking you about it, because that's the example that we set. So if you are, and you have to be okay with that, because you set a standard of a lifestyle that this is okay. So now, if you're so into it, are you okay with doing that?
25 or 30 years old.
But now, JD, that goes across the board with everything. The person who was a crackhead at the age of 18 to 21, when he get older, he has to tell his kids, listen, okay, I know I've been preaching y'all not taking drugs. Let me be honest with you. When I was 20, I was hooked on drugs. So that goes, so it's not just sexually, but if we really gonna be honest, then and there's just some things that your kids don't need to know. I know my dad and mom went to grade. There's some things that I'll never know of what they did behind closed doors. I don't teach my kids from, and you have kids, so I don't teach my kids from what decisions I made when I was a teenager. Because I look back now and I look at myself like, what the hell were you thinking? So I'm teaching now from a mature, wiser person saying, hey, you don't need to do that. Like I tell my daughter and my son, and I tell them both, you guys, try not to get in a serious relationship until you're 30. Go out and experience some things. Now, do I tell them to go out and just screw everybody? No. I'm telling you, go out and experience some people. Go out and have friends. Get some people, travel. Go enjoy yourself before you get tied down to somebody. You don't even know yourself yet. And here you are now tying yourself down to somebody else, trying to get to know them. So I speak now of a wisdom of a 40 plus old man and not of a 20-year-old, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, and I hear you. I'm just thinking at the same time that it's a lifestyle choice. You have certain decisions that you made, things that you did before, habits, and those things come and go. But if we're gonna compare apples to apples, you're showing them either a lifetime or a lifestyle of monogamous relationship for a lifetime, or you're showing them a polygamist. At some point, they can kind of figure some things out, right? Mm-hmm. That you're doing a lifetime polygamist. Now, if we're gonna compare a short-term polygamous relationship, and then you kind of, get into monogamy, and looking more into monogamy, really you believe in monogamy. You just had your phase. But we're talking about people who I believe in polygamy. So you're talking about to the end of your age, when they bury you, it's 3 of y'all there, 4 of y'all there, whatever the case may be. And that being in competition or comparison to someone who lived a lifestyle of monogamy. So I think that if they see you for a lifetime, and they know mom and dad, and they kind of pick certain things up. Mom doesn't spend the night all the time. Where she be at? And who's this guy? Kids are gonna pick up. They come teenagers. They got your phone. At some point, you're still in that lifestyle. Are you okay with telling them that it's okay? And if you are, then I guess that lifestyle is for you. But I don't think most people, even if they're in that relationship, will be okay with that.
Well, remember now, we're talking from a European, an American point of view. If you were in a society where that was the norm, then your kids, you wouldn't have to teach your kids. Your kids already know that Uncle Jay, Daddy, blah, blah, blah. So it's the norm. The problem would be now of me teaching them a monogamous relationship. And they're like, what is that? I've never seen that before. So it all depends on, again, what your experience was, what culture were you brought up in, what was put in front of you as normalcy.
It depends on the social stigma attached to it, because every culture and every society, some society, if you know what you know, if this is all you know, then you're good with it. You see what I'm saying? And this is the thing where people get into, like, you get what I'm saying? Where they start saying, oh, well, you get what I'm saying with the gay marriages, the this marriages, the that marriages. Whatever works for you.
And that's the thing. It's the wild, wild west. Where does it originate from? Where's the standard? Where do we say, hey, this is what's normal? Or do we just tell them that it's all normal? And I think that that's the danger of society now, is that everything is becoming normalized. So if we go back real quickly to the beginning, the first polygamous relationship that I remember was Abraham and Sarah. Abraham and Sarah in the Bible, if you read with Genesis, and the only reason why that became true was because they couldn't wait on a promised child that God was supposed to give them. So Sarah said, you know what, go ahead and take my maid servant and have the baby. And it became a big mistake. Those two nations continue to fight till this day. And they just couldn't wait on what was going to happen. So I know other cultures, and I know they said, the scientists said monogamy is something that's only 1,000 years old. But I don't believe so. I think that we started off, he and she, he made them, Adam and Eve. It was just them two.
Mm-hmm. So let's transition to a question that I'm curious to ask. Like, how can women mess up monogamy? So what are some things that maybe they get into a relationship? What are some things that they could do that can cause boredom? What'd you say?
Sexual boredom.
Okay, this is where you were waiting for this question. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Chris.
That's what you weren't waiting on. So sexual boredom, women.
So the question is, what do you think women get wrong about monogamy? How do we jeopardize it?
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. I'm trying to say it and you still don't want to hear it.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. I'm just telling you that most women, they're not ready for the marriage. The marriage means that we're one. Okay, for the most part. So, for example, I wanna make love to you. You don't want to do it. You're gonna have to, the percentage, you're gonna have to want to do it. Vice versa, both, right? You can't be, oh, I'm in there and the months go by. Months go by. I'm telling you have relationships like that. Remember, I'm not married. You have relationships like that where months go by and where these guys are begging.
Hand raised, because it would not be right of me. There are women that beg for it too, because they're male.
But I'm saying for the most part, most of the
For the most part, there are men too.
I'm not saying they're not men. I'm
okay, just making sure that it's not
you see how
seen as
defensive they get? You see
no. I'm just saying that
it's true, you know.
It's not that I'm getting defensive.
It's true. But
the narrative is always how it's the wives that are holding out on sex. So there's a reality that there are
fellas, you know it's true, right?
Sexual either.
Because they're gonna have to talk. You know, for the most part, women are like that because the reason why, this is how I see it, and this is my belief. Most of you don't really want a marriage. You just want a wedding. Right? You want the wedding and all this stuff, and to say that you have the name and all this stuff, but for the actual marriage, it's work. It's being one. And then now you're like, oh, I don't want to do nothing. And then you find all kind of excuse and lies and say you don't want to do anything. And then when the guy want to go out there, now it's a problem. But this is most of the relationships that I know. I'm not saying all, because I know I've seen relationships where they actually adore each other for years. You understand? And they still have that spark for years. So I'm not generalizing and putting it on everybody, but for the most part, that's the most common assault in a relationship is the women lying and saying they have headache and all kind of foolishness. All right. And then they start having a problem. So that is what that's my advice.
Okay, I'm so glad you got it off of your chest because I know that you've been waiting for this moment.
Well, therapy. Thank you.
Mark, you want to add?
No.
It's just me.
Yes. Now, I'm not disagreeing. There are some women who are more interested in having the wedding, that they may not think about the responsibilities that come with monogamy after the wedding, which is if you want him to be monogamous, you have to be prepared to sexually handle. And vice versa, he has to be willing to be ready to be emotionally monogamous. So it does go both ways in the availability of that one person or meeting the expectations in that monogamous relationship.
I tell you what, I will say this is that, the stigma, I guess, depending on who you're talking to, that men always believe that, it's the woman that decline in the bedroom, and then you talk to women, it's like, no, it's too many men, the men decline. So it all depends on who you're talking to. And, even when we say that, men are not emotional creatures, and I love the feedback that Adrian gave us that while we're all human, we all have emotions. Men are just taught to suppress theirs while women are allowed to express theirs, right? So what can women do? Really, it's just a matter of two people who say they're going to get into a committed relationship, whether it be polygamy or monogamy, to really know each other. I mean, really know each other, have know each other to the point of, I know I can bring this to him, I can offer him this on his anniversary, and he not get suspicious of, why is she doing this? Is this somebody she want? You know, and to know each other like that, you really have to let go of all of your concerns and fears. Hold on one second, guys. I locked somebody out. You have to really let go of all your concerns and fears and give in totally to that other person. And a lot of times we don't do that. We hold back something. Like, I love you with all my heart, but I'm holding back a little something of me. I can't let you know this little part of me. And that little part of you is looking for some comfort, looking for something, but I can't express that to you because you're not going to understand that part of me. So now I got to go and look for it outside. No matter what part, whether it be sexual or financial, whatever it is, now I got to look for it outside because I can't express it to you. Well, you don't fully love me. But to fully love me, you have to give all of yourself, even the part of you that you think I'm going to not like, and leave that up to me to say, you know what, I don't want this. But a lot of people, you know, you don't find out your spouse until, you know, years in. I never knew he liked that. Did he just start liking it, or just something you never knew? Yeah. So it's really, so back to your question, it's just really about two people really committing and knowing each other.
Sure.
Charles.
So for me, where women probably get monogamy wrong would be wanting more than just the monogamy aspect of it, right? Because if the definition of monogamy is the practice of a person being married to one person, one partner, right? Or the practice of being in a sexual relationship with one partner, then everything else is not considered breaking the monogamy, right? So I think where women go wrong sometimes is wanting more than that. And what I mean is, if you don't want your guy to probably go out because you're afraid of him talking to somebody else, that you feel like if he's talking to somebody else, it can lead to something, right? If he's mingling, just because he's in an atmosphere, he's mingling with the opposite sex, doesn't mean that he's breaking the monogamy. Doesn't mean that he's cheating, right? Even if he goes to a gentleman's club, doesn't mean that he's having sexual relationships with these people. Yeah, he can watch, he can see the show, whatever the case is, but he's not breaking the monogamy. So what happens is that these accusations start to come up, these falsified accusations come up with different things where it's not even the case, right? So if he's not having sex with someone else, if he's not even married, he's just in a relationship with you, then I feel like you guys also have to have that understanding of what monogamy really is, right? But no, women don't want to talk to nobody else. They want to kind of bind men at times to where it can cause men to feel like, wow, I'm being accused of doing things that I'm not even doing. I might as well do them. Because if all it is just accusations because, hey, I saw you probably talk to this person, or you want to go to this place to try to do something, and that's not even the case, then it just creates a lot of confusion in the household.
It goes both ways. Because I find that guys can't deal with the woman talking just in a conversation. Who's that?
But if we're saying what goes wrong in the situation, that's what goes wrong when it comes to monogamy, right? Because it shouldn't be a situation where you feel like she's talking to a coworker, or she's talking to someone, a best friend that she's known for years, that they're doing something, and vice versa. It shouldn't be that, you know.
I do think that there needs to be that time between the couple where they define kind of like the rules of engagement with monogamy, because I don't think monogamy is a one size fits all type of thing. I think the rules of engagement have to be specified on what's allowed, not allowed, or, you know, what is deemed appropriate or inappropriate.
Additional policies and procedures.
Additional policies.
All these things that it is so funny.
Oh, you learn by unlearning, right? Like, yeah. David, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's gonna. My thoughts are gonna sound like I disagree with you, Charles. I don't think I do necessarily. It's just that I'm saying the complete opposite of what you said, where you said that where most women get it wrong is by expecting more than the monogamy. I believe that if we're talking about women who get monogamy wrong, is that they believe that that's all that they have to offer to the relationship. As long as I'm loyal.
What do you mean?
As long as I'm loyal, everything is good. But I can't eat your loyalty. You know, the house don't look good based off your loyalty. right? It's a part of the relationship, a monogamy relationship, but monogamy means that we're gonna take care of each other one-on-one. We're not just gonna be here. So I think that that's where some women get it wrong as well, is that if I'm choosing you and I'm choosing one, I'm trying to make sure I choose the best one. And I offer you, I bring my hard work and I work and I support you emotionally, and I do whatever I need to do around the house to help you. And at the same time, I'm expecting more than just your loyalty.
Like what, David?
Oh,
Like
Alicia,
a good
look at
plate of.
Alicia.
Oh, we got lists. I mean, yeah, you want to be able to have a good meal when you come from work. It doesn't have to be every day. I like to cook, so it's a shared responsibility. But you know, I heard this. It was someone on social media who was talking about a lot of girls now talking about I can't cook, I can't clean like Cardi B, or was it whatever the song was? I think it was Cardi B, and it was like, y'all gotta understand, Cardi B got money. Y'all over here talking about you can't cook, you can't clean, and then you want to keep a man. That's not where it is in 2020. So a nice meal, it just shows that you consider and that you care for the person. They say that the way to a man's heart is what?
To his stomach. But it also shows that you care for yourself too, because you should. Absolutely. How do you feed yourself? Yeah.
And I was just gonna say, that's the other thing. So there's other things, taking care of yourself, right? Representing yourself, because you're an image and a reflection of him. So, take care of yourself.
You touched on something interesting, because I've seen where men and women, once they get married or once they get in a serious relationship, they can, what's the term, like let themselves go. And it happens on both sides.
They become complacent.
What'd you say?
Complacency.
The tab for Uber's Eats. I mean, because when you're single, your meal costs $7, right? But when you're in a relationship, somehow that same meal is now $65. But what are you all's thoughts on this comment? Whether you're single or married, you should always look like you're single. What are your thoughts on that comment? It doesn't say act like you're single. It says you should look like you're single.
Because you let yourself go when you're in a relationship. Because I heard someone say something, success begets complacency, right? So you're successful with this person already. You're already in. So then you become complacent. So you don't feel like you should do the things, you lost that hunger. The things that you did to get this person or try when you're in the dating arena. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna I wanna look good, but once you land this person, feel like I'm here. Man, this is what I was saying and I wasn't really disagreeing with you, Charles. I agree with you in a monogamous, but I'm saying it happens, it's not just tailored to women. Men do it too. Men become complacent. They just want to sit and watch the TV. They're no longer romantic. They're no longer none of this stuff. So, I mean, I was just saying it works both ways. I wasn't saying that I disagree, that that's a problem in a monogamous relationship. I'm just saying it's not just women, that it's men get complacent too.
So could that be something that jeopardizes monogamy?
Yes, it does. Because guess what? Now you look pop down in the place, right? Which I don't even know, head tap. Sometimes I say, look like a crackhead, but you don't even really care. And then listen to this is how you know you're complacent. This is how you know you're complacent.
This is how you know you're complacent.
Let me tell you how you know you're complacent, especially as a woman. My friend coming over, somebody coming over. You didn't tell me they were coming over. Why? Because I would have got to start look good. Okay, but you wouldn't look good for me. You know what I'm saying? So you're like nobody.
Holiday, don't be agreeing all hard to that.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So that's what did you say, David? That's true too?
Yeah, I think so. And I agree with him in the aspect of it being both ways. Because at some point, if you don't, the complacency is going to create some insecurity at some point, because there's still people out there, making sure that they take care of themselves and look at them and look well. And if your partner starts to see that, even if they're not looking at it for that reason, you personally, where you could be and how you could do better. and you will start to prepare yourself. And then an insecure you is not good for the relationship either way.
Right.
So then that's going to breed more problems. So your own complacency is going to be your own internal destruction, because you'll start seeing who you are and seeing how much you felt, falling off. So you just want to do your best. It doesn't mean that you got to be Miss America or Mr. Hercules all year round, but when you put effort, you feel better in your, with yourself. And then of course the stuff that you do at home as well.
That's true.
What's the first thing people want to do when they break up?
Get back in shape.
Work out. I'm going
Go to the gym.
Get back in shape. Get a new
Good.
hairstyle.
I wasn't
Get a
doing
new
that.
wardrobe.
But what's ironic is if you're in a relationship and you just decide like, you know what, I want to get back in shape. Let me start going to the gym again. What you working out for? What you going to the gym for? Who you trying to look good for?
Yep. You get it both ways.
Like, I'm trying to look good for you. Like myself.
Or I'm trying to look good for me. Like sometimes it is
myself.
No, you're not.
That's only if they're complacent. That's only if they're complacent. Because if they're already going to the gym, they're like, finally, I got you to get this. So it really is, where are you in your relationship? If you both are complacent, then you just let them know you're doing it for them and you bring them along, and try to bring them along. But that's the only time you'll get that, is if they're
sometimes, Dave, sometimes it's bad mind. Sometimes it's just straight bad mind. They just don't want you to look good.
Yeah,
that's true.
But so how do we lovingly tell our partners, or in your case, your wives or your girlfriends, that they have fallen off? Like, you don't want to get the dreaded question of how does this dress make me look? We know that that's a question that we don't want to ask anyone in life.
I know you're not asking me.
We're not asking Chris, because Chris is gonna say, I got you a membership at 24 Hour Fitness. You need to start tomorrow.
That's a trap. That's a trap.
It's a trap.
That's a trap.
I would say, Alicia, go ahead.
Yeah, how do you communicate it that lovingly, that hey, maybe we should, or maybe, remember how you used to look, type of thing, in a nicer way?
I think you just lead by example, really. You set the tone. You start going and working out. And then she just asks, like, what you doing? You want to join me? Or you start going to the gym again and you just ask her, like, hey, you want to tag along one day?
Let's say that doesn't work. And I'm just going to say this because I have it doesn't work. Marc said no, that doesn't work.
Alicia, I kind of agree with Charles. It depends on how you say it. If you say, hey, hold on now, you're putting on something, let's go work out, let's go. So that means I'm supporting you. You see what I'm saying? Let's go, baby. You get what I'm saying? What I must sit down there and just make it just go pop down all the way. You should be appreciative that I say, listen, come on, babe, let's go. You see what I'm saying? Let's go running, let's go do stuff. So I'm here to push you so you look better, right? Now, if you decide that you want to reject that, you on some self-destruction path to me.
I mean, a lot happens to us women from the time we get married to as we evolve in marriage. I'm not making excuses, but I'm giving them
nothing
facts.
happened to us. Nothing happened.
We carry kids. Like, we actually have a child, which our body fluctuates 1,000 ways.
Leave that one alone, Chris.
Alicia.
Do you know what they did to my body?
Alicia, do you know how we have to shoot them out? Do you understand that?
Anyway, Marc, because Chris is about to get muted. Marc, give us some wisdom, please, so we don't go down the path.
I don't know about the wisdom, but I give you what I got.
Okay.
As you were saying earlier, that the best advice. You heard even if you're not single, look it. So the best advice I ever got in marriage is that treat marriage as a job. So you're working, and you get evaluated at least once a year. You get evaluated. Yeah. And your evaluation is on what your performance was for that year. First of all, you had to get a resume. You had to submit that I'm qualified for this and this is the type of person I am. Then you have to prove that you're not only that type of employee, but also you're getting better. And at the end of the year, you and your manager sit down and they evaluate you. And hey, we'll see if we're going to go forward with you or not. Yeah, did you improve? Did you not? There's going to be some hard discussions. I've been told, and now I understand it better, treat marriage like it's a job. Okay, we're signing into this agreement that I love you for what you're bringing to the table. You love me for what I'm bringing to the table. I'm here to make you happy. You're here to make me happy. In 12 months, we're going to sit back down. We're going to have this conversation and see if this has been happening and what can we do to get better. Now, at the end of 12 months, I see you've gained some weight. You're not fixing your hair up like you used to. We need to get back. So what I'm saying,
a check-in,
is that we need to get, again, it goes back to being honest with each other. And that I need to be honest with you. So you've had a child. And this is the reason why that falls on deaf ears, Alicia. Not deaf ears, but this, because there's been women who've had children and for
my internet's connecting. My internet is not, sorry, it's unstable. Okay.
You know what? You only get one on that. You only get one time to do that. But
that's why we can't communicate, Mark.
Yeah, internet gonna keep dropping. But so it goes back to you being honest and open with the person and saying, hey, you're not doing the thing that I'm a visually stimulated person, and you knew this when we met. Yeah. Now you're not visually stimulated anymore. You're not. I still love you. So don't mix love with you're just not. I still love you, but no, I'm not stimulated by you. When I come home and you got rollers in your head and this and that, I'm not stimulated. And I need to let you know that. I need to be honest and open and let you know that. But what comes into marriage is that I don't want to tell her this because I'm gonna break her heart. He or she, I'm gonna stop saying it's just women, he or she could have an attitude. Now we got an argument. I don't want to get in an argument, so I just keep this to myself. So next thing you know, 5 years from now, the hair rollers done turned to weight gain. You're not doing what you used to do. And it's all because we can't communicate about the things that's going wrong in this marriage, in this relationship, or in this business. And if we treated our spouse as well as we did our job, we would have more.
A job you like. A job you like.
Because a job you don't like, you get up and leave, right? Yeah. So if you don't like this job, you know what? Divorce. I mean, I hate to throw that out there, but I'm just saying, if you're not making me happy, I'm not making you happy, we're going to stick around. Why? So I'm saying that if we committed to each other and said that we're going to commit, then let's commit all the way. What do you need? And it's not just sexual. It's, I need you to talk to me more. I need, when I get off from work, I need to decompress with you just talking to me. I need to cuddle more. But I should have known all this before we got married. So I need to keep all that up. I need to keep that contract going, just like I promised Spectrum of the job I'm working with. I promised to be an instructor and be the best instructor, and that is. I need to do the same thing with my spouse.
What's the common question? What's the common term associated with marriage? Marriage is work.
They call it work.
I like that analogy.
But we don't treat it like it's work, right?
I love the check-in. And I think that's the biggest part that's missing from like the relationships is that check-in that is gonna happen. Like if after every 6 months or every 12 months there's gonna be a review, like mentally you prepare for it, in your actions you prepare for it, and then you're not blindsided either. So I really love that idea of incorporating like ever so often a check-in to see how, because even with your car, your oil light will go off if you need an oil change. Like everything in life worth keeping must be maintained. But sometimes we wait too long and the only maintenance there is a counselor. And by then, you on the rocks. So like to be proactive in checking in on the status of your relationship, I love that idea.
What are we on now? Mark? Where we end the year now? So
yeah, we're on our fourth quarter review.
Yes,
for the folks tuning in.
You get your checking notes together.
We're going to put together a year-end draft that you can evaluate your partner on, needs improvement, achieves expectation. Or,
Yeah.
I got to add to that. I have to add to that. I love that analogy and that way of thinking about it, Mark. Now, if it's a job, I'm only agreeing to being evaluated this way because you're going to pay me. Okay. If you don't pay me, I don't care about your evaluation. So when I say pay me, that means I need to be motivated. Right. I also need to be motivated. So, okay, you can evaluate me and say, hey, babe, I like it when your arms look big and when you go to the gym, this, and when you do that. But if the way that you communicate that It's something that takes away from my love bank. You're not giving me the motivation to go do it. Right. So the tone in which you deliver that, that's
delivery
payment.
Is everything.
Yeah, the delivery in which you do that, that's payment. The way that you encourage them as they're going through the process. Don't let them go to the gym for 1 week, they skip 1 week, and now you all down their throat. No, you still love them and you keep pushing them to it. And I think that ability to be able to receive from that person and to feel that encouragement as well. You have to know your partner's love language. That's the payment to me. Is that you have to know that this person will get up in the gym, not if I just motivate them, they may not want to hear it, but she likes affection. So if I give her some affection, she's going to be good and ready in the morning. You don't want to not give her affection. Don't give her what she needs and then expect something else out of it. I'm not showing up to work.
But JD, and that's why I say if we look at it as our job, because if you have a manager, and so if you've ever had a manager that didn't talk to you all year, didn't say nothing about how you was doing, but when it came to evaluation, now they want to say, well, listen, you haven't been doing this. Well, you just telling me this 12 and all along. So that's why I say treat it like a job. And I know that, and again, if your manager came to you and talked to you like you were the custodian, talking to you in a tone of, listen, I'm your manager, you will do it. Man, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So all of that, what you just said, is what I mean by we treat our job better than our spouse, because if I have a subordinate up under me, I know I got to, because of my training, I got to show leadership. I have to show you that I'm willing to do this. I got to encourage you. I got to give you the resources. I got to make sure that I create an environment for you to thrive and get better. So I got to do all this as a spouse. So like you say, if I'm telling you get up in the gym, I'm getting up before you. If I'm telling you to eat right, I'm eating right. I've already got stuff in it prepared for me to eat right. If I'm saying you need to talk to me more, I'm already talking to you. So all that what you just said, we apply it in our jobs, but we don't apply it in our relationship.
Agreed.
Charles?
Ditto.
But I think as far as what Dave was saying, like as far as reward and stuff like that, I mean, sometimes it can be as simple as just recognition. If you're talking about a job, sometimes that's what they want to give you. They're just going to give you a little recognition. You don't necessarily, get the raise. So, I mean, if she said, damn, wow, your arm's looking good. Wow, you're looking good, babe. I mean, sometimes that's enough.
What you say, Mark? Your head get big?
Oh, you know it.
Now you go in the gym and hurt yourself. Slow down now. pick back up the little 15 weights in a couple of weeks.
Stay in your lane, Dave. Stay in your lane.
That's true, Dave. That's so true.
Motivation is very important. You gotta motivate. You gotta congratulate when they do it, and you gotta celebrate them when they're making progress. So it's like a continuance of follow-ups. It's a continuance of motivation that has to be there to continue to inspire a person to want to continue, right? You don't, like you just said, David, you don't want it to be a situation where they go for a week, they stop going, and then you're trying to be all up down their throat. No, every day that they go, you want to congratulate them and you want to motivate them and celebrate them for going. Those 2 days, those 3 days. That's what's going to fuel them to even go the 4th day or the 5th day or to get to the week. So it has to be a consistent form of motivation and encouragement, man, if you really want to see progress or success.
I love that. It's so important to show the love and support in the meantime, not when they get to the goal or not when they've changed that behavior, but as they're processing through the change, to still show them love and encouragement. Man, listen, you guys know we could go on with this topic for a long time.
I think this is the longest we've ever gone, haven't it?
This needs a part 2.
This might need a part 2.
Yeah, this is grown and sexy.
Yeah, because we're all gonna work on looking single, right? Like, even if we aren't single, we're gonna look on just making sure we're keeping ourselves together. But it's more than the physical, obviously. David buttoning up.
I think we're all doing that on this panel. Maybe I'm mistaken. I think we're all doing that on this panel.
Well, I mean, possibly, but even for the folks tuning in, you guys gave some really great points on how they can let their lovers know in an honest way about their needs and what some of their expectations are that maybe haven't been set before. So Any final comments? I hate to close this one out. Like this one has just been.
I got one. Don't get popped down.
I'm going to the gym tomorrow just because of that
Listen,
word. I don't want to hear nobody call me pop down. I'm like, tomorrow.
I'm like, who wants to do an intermittent fast with me this week? Because Chris got me in my feelings now.
Hey, Chris, I don't know if I'm going to the gym, but I definitely can buy smaller shirts.
Yeah. There you go.
As a mess. But you know what I do appreciate is that you guys shine some light on monogamy that is in a whole different. I think some of the narrative is Black men don't want to commit, Black men cheat. Black men, as Charles represented with his background, saying that they don't. But I think the narrative has been so negative with Black men committing. And it's interesting because I had a quick video this week where I asked people, like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word monogamy? And the men actually had more positive, loving responses than the women. The women were saying not possible, where, yeah, right, things like that. But it was the men who were saying commitment. They were saying two souls, like what did I say? Like two people, one soul. Like it got a little poetic in there. And I was like, okay. But it was just interesting to see you all's actual take on the idea of monogamy. And even hearing some of the dialogue tonight, that's what you prefer, despite what we might see in music videos or in the media or other places.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I would say one thing, I would just say, like I said earlier, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So it's not that men don't want monogamous relationships. I believe that as ladies, you just have to know that there is going to be work required. It's a relationship, it's work. And just because he wants you to continue working on yourself and working on a relationship doesn't mean that he doesn't love you as you are. He just wants to continue to progress because we have a lot that come at us as men. I know y'all have a lot that y'all go through. We have a lot that comes at us. It's fair to say. So understand how we are built and understand that he'll love you to the end of your life. You just got to work and know what each other wants. It's possible.
Absolutely.
I like that. Anything you want to add, Chris?
No, I think Dave did a good job on that.
He did, yeah. Chris, Holiday, Mark, anything?
We're gonna let JD go out on that one.
We don't let JD.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say the same thing, man. I think JD, he summed it up for us all, man. And I'm in agreement. Yeah, I'm in agreement. So yeah, man, good stuff, man. Just continue guys to respect each other, love each other, making sure that you guys are building each other up, man, for greatness.
Yeah.
David, we love having you on here. Don't be surprised if you get another message.
Thank you for having me. Hey, as long as Mark don't bully me before the broadcast and Chris don't call me a pop down, I'll be here. Good to meet you, Mr. Holiday, as well. And thank you so much, Lisa, for having me.
Absolutely, my brother.
Good to see you again, JD.
Cool.
All right, everyone tuning in, thank you so much. We love the comments that you shared with us and being a part of this important, fun, and engaging dialogue. It's such a different topic that's not normally discussed, but I'm glad for the fellas' transparency, and I'm thankful for you all's input that you shared throughout as well. And until next time, thank you again for tuning in. You guys be safe out there, please.
Peace.